Hi-oh, beaver! Away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to KritzKast. It is yet another Monday. We have another cast for you coming from UGC Platinum. Of course, it is the European division. We're going to see which one of these two teams tonight is going to lose their first game of Season 24. We have two teams at the middle stage on 4-0 records. And into Week 5, this could be all about which team is going to get that coveted top seed spot heading into the playoffs. In one corner, we have a newly formed team, Elephant, with a lot of familiar names on this roster, also hoping to appear in Prem for the next season of ETF2L. Meanwhile, facing them are former champions, former Platinum champions back in Season 13, returning today. It is Fiddle eSports with a lot of familiar names coming back from that team, but there are some new faces, but many names you will recognize from the European Highlander scene. This poses to be a huge game for us tonight, and it is of course going to be played on the Marmite of Highlander maps. You either love it or you hate it. Is it of course CP Steel? I'm CeeJaey. Joining me tonight is Wiethoofd on the camera and production, and of course the amazing Chando as my co-caster. How is it going, man?
Very well, thank you. Very much looking forward to seeing these two teams pitting against each other in one of my favourite maps. And I mean, as you said, both these teams currently have had a flawless season thus far, but alas, not anymore. One of them will be victorious here. And yeah, I mean, some very promising names coming up in both these rosters. So we could see probably some of the best UGC Highlander action of this season. I'd say these are the two top teams. So maybe a bit of a preliminary fight before the finals.
Yeah, this could be just kind of that warm-up round, that warm-up game where they just feel each other out and think, okay, who's going to be better on steel? One of these teams might get rolled today because they're just absolutely terrible at steel, and that may just kind of trigger them to think, okay, if we meet up later in the playoffs, we probably want to make sure we don't play on steel, but who knows? See if full rosters or what kind of rosters these teams put out tonight. It'll be very interesting to see how this match will work. I'm expecting a close game. With these people who are appearing for the teams tonight. These two teams have had, like I said, 4-0 records so far. They have won all of their games. The only two teams left in the European UGC scene to do that in Platinum so far. It hasn't been totally smooth sailing though. We did see a round dropped by Fiddle eSports on Lakeside, and we did see a much closer game for Elephant on the Lakeside week as well, where they managed to scrape past the ETF2L Premiership runners-up, Fiddle eSports. So both these teams have dropped rounds. They've not been totally untouchable so far this season, and I don't know. I mean, how much of an advantage do you think is going? I mean, we've got some top teams. I mean, Fiddle still have to play against Failure, right? And there's some other decent teams in Plat. How much of a big advantage is winning this game, do you feel, Chando, like going into the last few weeks?
Well, I mean, for both these teams, I'd say that they're pretty confident about getting to playoff spots. Losing this game isn't going to jeopardize anything, but what it will do is give them some much needed morale against some of these top players, and at the end of the day we could be seeing, as you said, like a little warm-up for the finals here. So beating the other team is going to be a huge ego boost for them. So I think what's the play here is more psychological than anything, but it's still incredibly important. And I mean, speaking of sort of psychology, mentality, it's landed us on CP Steel, which is all about the tactics, and it's going to be a very big fight for both teams to try and take this one. As we saw in ETF2L last season, there were some insanely quick rounds pulled off by the likes of Failure, and we could be seeing the same again. It can be some crushing, humiliating defeats on steel, just due to how the game is played out, how quickly you can win these. You can get a successful AE push done.
Absolutely, it is that map where anything can happen. I mean, there's so many classic matches that have been played in Highlander over the years, and the ones that usually stand out the most to people are the ones on steel. I mean, I remember when SNSD beat Killswitch in less than a minute on this map, because Killswitch thought, oh, let's just defend the A point. We've only got a couple of minutes to hold, and then SNSD just rolled straight onto E. Didn't cap any other points, just capped E. And then we had the Russia versus Sweden game a couple of years ago where Russia were absolutely dominating, and it is their home turf. A lot of people talk about Steel being that Russian map, and then Sweden just pulling off these insane strats, these insane counters to be able to deny it, and we have this kind of ability for teams to do this, and where it could be looking, it's going one way, it just flip-flops to the other side. We do have a little bit of interesting rosters here because there's only 10 players on the Fiddle roster, so they do not have very many players to choose from. I'm not sure if there'll be any mercs or whether they'll be putting out a somewhat full roster, while the Elephant roster has a lot more players. They have a lot more to choose from. One of the players on the Elephant roster is Viljak, who is in the server, who only joined them today, having previously been on Chando, Fiddle eSports.
Wow, so, okay. There's going to be some bit of rivalry there between them then.
Absolutely. I mean, and we were talking about before we went live, there's actually a lot of players who kind of formerly played for SCCK, the sort of 2 times Prem champions, finished 3rd in the most recent season before eventually folding and breaking up for the final time. We've got players on both teams that represented, and we know that things weren't 100% amicable with the breakup. We've all been through breakups like that, and maybe there's going to be some underlying tones between the split of players here. I'm not sure whether there's going to be some personal rivalries going on. We'll have to take a look at the rosters at the moment. We do have a lot of players in the server, but not 100% sure on who's going to be playing what. Chand, I'm going to take a look at Red Team, which is Fiddle eSports, from what I understand. We have, I believe that's Hearts? I'm trying to check. It is Hearts.
Alex Jones,
Hearts. So, yeah, that is Hearts. So he'll be playing a class. I'm going to wait for the ready up so we know what class is actually, because I could guess all day long, but knowing these players, they can play pretty much any class very well. So, do you think these teams are gonna? Do you think these teams have got any strats, or do you think they're just gonna come in and just just wing it?
I mean, strats in Highlander in 2018 is somewhat of a rarity now. On Steel, though, you do need some strategy. You do need some quick rotations. And I think if either of these teams are particularly keen on taking the crown this UGC season, they're definitely going to be wanting some strategy there. And whether it's a roll from A, B, C, D, E, or if it's A, E, I mean, there's so many different ways you can approach winning this, and it's just going to be a matter of seeing how they approach it and as it comes. But we are going live here now, I do believe. No, we just gotten ready. That's a shame. But no, I mean, CeeJaey, how would you say both these teams are going to want to approach this map if they want to take the victory?
I'm expecting both teams at some point to try an AE push. I really do think that in this day and age, everyone's played Steel enough, especially these guys. There are so many Prem winners, Prem finalists, Platinum winners in this matchup right now. Okay, so these aren't two well-recognized teams, I guess, but all of these players, you'll at least recognize a handful from watching, top-level games in Highlander. So these guys know Steel inside out by now. So it's not out of the question for them to just try an AE push. Gonna take a look at the roster. I'm trying to work out who the spy is on Elephant. The scout is. I can't work out who that is, but it's called High Testosterone. Whoever that is. Dima is on Soldier. Garden Fungus. UGC Admin is on Pyro. Adiski, Demo of the season, last season on Demo. Dima is a god, aka Sandburn is on Heavy, Cherry on Engineer, Daegu on Medic, Milchman on Sniper, and Viljak on Spy. That is an incredibly strong first lineup. They're actually playing their main classes here, Chando. I'm going to keep talking about the other roster because we all know this is dead time while people cap A. On the other team, we have Justice playing Scout, Clark on Soldier, Sacrilege on Pyro, Murphy on Demo, Aleski Heavy, Ascendry NG, Hearts is on Medic, Yahoo on Sniper with Sneaky on Spy. Again, a very strong team. And I don't know, I'm going to have to call you out, Chando, and just say, who do you think is going to take this game?
Well, I'd say it's going to be a close one, but it seems that Fiddle eSports has a lot more of their main roster playing, and by that I mean like main classes. Whereas it seems like having Yahoo on Sniper, for example, is an interesting choice. I've never seen him on Sniper. He may turn up, but it's weird that such a renowned Pyro main is that class. So I'm going to say that Fiddle's going to take this, but they are straight onto the E point now. That's just a high testosterone player on the scout class there. Putting a bit of time there, but they're not going to be fully committing to it. Instead, they are going to just be trying to, find their way onto B. Not really making too much commitment. They're just trying to work out where the other team is playing at the moment, and they've got a fairly aggressive setup on here, CeeJaey.
Yeah, it's quite interesting actually. It doesn't look like Fiddle are concerned. They're holding B. They've got their sentry aggressive. Murphy and Yahoo are really far forward, just denying anyone entering from B. And we can see Adiski has rotated here. The E point was abandoned, and we do see an early Uber used onto Adiski. He's just soloing it, trying to get some damage down on some players. A couple of flank players have died here, but other than, well, it's Justice really. And Adiski there gets domed by Yahoo. He's on a 2 kill streak, so he's doing well. And there you go. Milchman gets taken down as well, just the scout. So Murphy getting a couple of kills for his logs as well. And that was a pretty strong defense from Fiddle eSports coming into B there. Usually we see a pretty strong exchange from the attacking team. We do see Viljack desperately trying to get close to that sentry. Does get taken down there. Adiski with the spam. And he's trying to get a look at the pipes. Oh my word, he takes down Hearts. And there is so much damage. The repush being so successful here. 4 down for Fiddle. They are hightailing it out of there, and they're probably going to try and hold C now.
Yeah, that was the best call for Fiddle there. Losing Clark and Sacrilege, who as well going down. It's good plays by Milchman. They just had to back out there. If they risked holding on to that, they'd risk the entire map. So they backed out nice and quickly, giving up the B point to Elephant there. They've got some players on E. Well, that's just, I believe that probably is May. A high testosterone player, and he certainly is just going balls to the walls, aggressive on that E point there, wasting no time. He's already got a halfway cap, and they're pushing on to C now. The Uber's been exchanged on to the Pyro, but they backed up a little bit. They still want to commit to this E point. No one's still dealing with it. They finally backs out a little bit. They're playing in this under area, and you can see the blue soldier, Dima, putting out some decent spam as well there, and May's back on that point now, so they're really committing to this E push here by the looks of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good because worst case scenario, Fiddle have to rotate to block that E point, and they have players all over C, and they're ready now just to cap this, and it's probably going to be for free. They have 60% in the bank, but Hearts doesn't have 100% just yet, so it's going to be difficult for them to contest. If they had an Uber, maybe they would. It looks like they are trying to pressure here from underneath, but at the moment, Hearts is well protected by a level 2 sentry. A sentry there has built that up on the E point. Yahoo there gets taken down by Milcher, and he's on a 3k. So a lot of, I want to say everyone's quite compressed here in the corner. Oleski playing right next to the sentry. So there's a lot of kind of focus on this upper area, but there's not much blocking of doorways. And it does look like D point is just being left. Viljack is there alone, and there's just so much space being given here to Elephant, although saying that Ascendry gets a 3k with his regular big jump from Dima, does take down the engineer, but that sentry did so much work that it's held them off for a little bit longer.
Yeah, certainly slowed their aggression down there because they were absolutely steamrolling it at the time, CeeJaey. They've had to slow down a little bit now. They've still got Dima doing a lot of damage from that top area, and Sandburn coming up on the from BCE. They're getting some time on E now. Looks like they've just completely given up with that deep push there. May going in nice and deep, taking down Justice as well there. And also managing to pick up Murphy, just doing so much work aggressive there. You usually see like a heavy playing up that aggressive, but no, it's going to be May. He's high testosterone indeed. He's not wasting any time. And yeah, now they've got _5 on there. Doesn't look like there's much that Fiddle can do about it. And Dima there just able to get the pick onto Clark. A Sentry going down as well. Hearts farts as well. And the Spy did his best to try and stop the point, but it just wasn't enough, CeeJaey. And there it is. In how long's that? That's not long at all. That's not long at all.
No, 4 minutes and 54. I mean, if you get a cap in under 5 minutes on Steel, you're going to be pretty happy with that. I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of at all. Normally, you're going to be expecting to see around 6 or 7 minutes. The thing about Steel is, all it takes is a drop, and the tables turn. And, you know, if we see someone like Murphy or we see Clark jumping in there and getting a drop, or maybe even a backstab from Sneaky, Yahoo getting a headshot, if you take down that medic at the wrong time on Steel, and this is a reason why a lot of people hate this map, it can cascade into point after point after point. And Fiddle seemed to have a decent kind of defense for a while, but that repush was what won them the game there. It was what won Elephant the game. They just repushed B, sent everyone into B, just fragged, and okay, so they lost a bunch of players, but hey, if you take out the majority of the enemy team, your respawns are faster on the attacking phase. So we will see if Fiddle can actually do something here. Again, stacking that A point, just getting the cap down as quickly as they can. Expect to see some movement onto B here. Clark with the direct hit here, chando, so maybe he's thinking, let's try and focus this sentry.
Quite possibly there. You don't see that every day. I mean, did swift cap onto A there, wasting no time, as you do. And now it's going to be deciding on where they're going to take it from here. They have only got 4 minutes and 20 seconds or so, so they're going to have to make a decision of where they're committing and really stick to it if they want to claw this back here. It looks like they want to go for the E point at the moment there. They haven't pulled off the rotation. Clark can take that by Garden Fungus in the drop down. Yahoo as well, going down to Dima. It's going to slow things down a little bit for the attacking team, but they are through onto E now. Wasting no time. That Jarati slowed them down a little bit, but they were able to pick off Viljak. It's going to come out. Murphy taking the lead here. Justice going down before he can get flashed, however. And that flog meant no pit deaths as well for Fiddle there. So, but it still slowed them down considerable amount. Adiski taking down a bunch of players. Sneaky as well going down. Loads of players on Fiddle down there. I mean, they can't really still commit to this now, CeeJaey.
No, it's very difficult when you've lost your demo to actually lock down this doorway. And you look at Milchman, he's got so much space. Adiski's walking forward and giving him that space to get into a position and just land headshots. And okay, he's not getting kills at the moment, but him being alive and landing the odd headshot onto a heavy here and there, it's going to make them scared to try and push in. But Clark does take down the sentry gun on B. You see some time on E, and it does look like Elephant are kind of rotating here. Sneaky though with a backstab onto Milchman. And a Sack comes in, takes down Viljak and a Disky. Those are huge picks. No sniper, no demo for the defensive team here. Murphy and Clark have taken control of B. They got their medic with them. They're going to get some cap time. And using those explosive weapons, just trying to hold down. But oh, here we come with the defensive Uber. Murphy gets taken down with the flog. It is a crits as well. Triple kill for Fungus. Ascendry and Yahoo also going down. Ubering a crits flog pyro can just be absolutely disastrous for the enemy team. I think he managed to get 5 there. Clark also dying towards the end. And Sneaky there with the consolidation kill onto Sandburn. But Garden Fungus isn't over yet. He's still coming in. And Demon's actually blocking this and actually holding this, Chando.
Absolutely. The immense skill of the Phlogistonator paying off in this top tier Highlander match. What do you expect? But they still want to commit to it a little bit. High testosterone player getting taken down by a Sentry's mini Sentry, and the Sentry gun on the defending team was also taken down before it could even get built up. A Disky playing in that top house spot, putting out some spam there, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to be able to take the B point. Only 2 minutes left though now, CeeJaey. They're going to have to start pushing this forward a little bit. You can see that they're getting into lobby now. Disky getting taken down as well. Maybe they can get the pick onto Milchman here. He's going to be able to back off with his life. Justice is hot on his heels though, takes him down. And they are going to get ready. I think they got to commit to an E push here. I mean, they've only got 1 minute 50 left. Dima getting taken down as well. The picks are in place for them. They just need to commit to it now. Murphy's going to make that jump over onto the spawn doors there, putting down good damage, but he is going to get down by an Ubered heavy. Dima is God, otherwise known as Samburn, going to be going in and taking the front of this. And what's his name? May. Well, these guys really need to use their real aliases. He's going to take down a few players, but they managed to get some good time though. And Eleski on the Uber was able to hold down the spawns a little bit. Got to be able to deal with those spamming classes. You got Dima doing a lot of work, a lot of spam there. They're going to be able to hold it off a little bit. But now the time is on. Their pressure is on indeed. Clark is on there by himself, but they kind of need a few more players to commit to it if they want to claw this back.
Yeah, there was actually a really good position there. They had most of their team focusing the point, the defensive Uber came in, and they used a heavy Uber to just totally destroy the combo. And actually getting a lot of frags here. There's 4 down. Disky's spawning now. That demo is going to need to do a lot. There we go. Sandburn gets headshot. Clark falls into the pit, but Justice is the man at the moment. He needs to stand on that point and make sure that cap is finished. 40 seconds. That is the key time. That's how long it takes for that cap to be done. Oh no, there we go. Justice gets taken down by the mini sentry. There's precious few players who are able to get on that point. If you haven't captured C, those bridges are not going to be up. There we go. Sak is onto the point. He's air blasting Dima into the pit. Dima down. Sacrilege is on the point, but he's getting spammed out. He can't deflect bullets. Murphy is there. Maybe he can do something. Justice is back, trying to go into that point now. So much damage coming onto him. He's only 18 HP, 50 seconds to go, and there's so few players left alive here. But here we go. High testosterone Slayer comes in, managed to pick up a few kills. That may be enough. 5 seconds left on the clock here. Elephant somehow holding on there to just block that E point, but in the end, it was so very close.
Absolutely so close indeed. I thought for a minute there Fiddle wouldn't have had a chance there, but they were focusing down the right players at the right times, focusing down all the players who could have potentially gotten onto that point there, and playing the clock down. That's exactly what they need to do. They're dealing with Justice before dealing with anything else just basically meant that no one else could get on that point. I mean, Sat gave it a blooming good try as well, but it wasn't enough there. And then you just saw right at the end May just running in from the BCE connector there and was able just to get like a 3 kill streak or something like that, and that was it. That was game over at that point. So yeah, the first round gonna go in favour of Elephant there. And they've been doing, both teams doing so well. Still could definitely go either way in this 3. So here we go now. On the attack will be, who's that? That is Elephant, sorry. And yeah, I mean, do you think they're going to be varying up their strategy at all?
I think it's kind of caught between, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But I think their push was good. Elephant's push was good, but their defense had a lot to be desired. And I think you have Fiddle there, who probably feeling quite down after that defense, but after that attack, think, hey, we can get around here. I'm just going to quickly peek at the logs and see that Murphy put out over 600 DPM. He had an absolutely huge game there. I mean, a lot of the frags, it's very hard. Steel is a difficult map to call, you know, damage and frags and stuff like that. It's more about what you do. I think the big play was definitely the repush on B. Disky managing to take down Hearts there. But it'd be interesting to see how Elephant hold this time, and whether Fiddle decide to go for the same kind of ABE push, or whether now that they've got more time to think about it, there's no pressure of a timer, that they decide to do something else. So we'll have to see how it goes. But it's a very close game, as we expected. And the first frag there goes to Milchman as he takes down Yahoo.
And now they're just going to be pushing on to this A point here as per usual. Interesting to see if they vary up their pushes at all here. Both teams pretty much committing to the AE. It seems like a pretty standard push formula now on Steel, but you never know. Some teams now still might be going for the full cap before they take E. I mean, it does happen. It really depends on how the game flows. But here they are. They are going to be looking like they're going to be dropping down onto B now. There he is. Murphy's committing. Oh, and he's back up again. And Clark's going to be committing now. I think they're just taking it in turns. Clark trying to get back up there. There you go. Finally gets up. Now they're just trying to work out, I think, how they want to approach this. They seem so confident on B, and then gave it a bit of spam and said, no, actually, let's just go with what we know here. Here they are pushing in now. Murphy getting taken down by some sticky traps that weren't checked, and they still want to push up with this though. Aleski pushing up quite well there. Sandburn getting picked off by Yahoo. It's going to maybe open up some possibilities there, but Milchman taking down a Sentry. Again, so many back and forth frags at the moment. It's very hard to tell if they can commit to this or not yet.
Yeah, Sentry getting taken out there while he was moving one of his buildings. I'm assuming that was a Sentry, maybe trying to build something like that in the White Room, the lobby area, just to, you know, get some damage in. But there we go, Justice gets a nice frag onto a Disky. It's no demo for the defensive team. That's 15 seconds till the demo man is back up. So we do see this movement here onto the E point. Murphy sticking up the spawn, trying to not allow Milchman the space to do anything. And here comes Garden Fungus in the connector. There is P all over Fiddle eSports right now. They are dripping with urine, but they haven't got anyone on the point, and that's the problem. Justice down, Murphy thrown into the pit. Uber is used. This is not going to be a good Uber. And we do see, wow, Clark gets destroyed in the air there by Viljack, and this has been a terrible Uber. We see actually Dima and Adiski on the chase, trying to get some stuff done. We managed to get Justice on Aleski, but there we go, Hearts did survive. He did get out, and we have to wait for another push here, but Daegu was nice and comfortable during that entire time, didn't get forced. So he can just wait, and he can just chill, and Elephant looked really strong here.
Absolutely. Daegu didn't even take a shred of damage there. He's going to be using this Uber aggressively now onto May. Going to be able to probably take out LSK there. Just seems to be whiffing a few shots though. Finally takes him down. Used the whole Uber on him. And now May is going to be able to back out by the looks of things. Yes, he is. Manages to back up there. Bit of a questionable Uber. I wouldn't have recommended it because now... oh no, wait. Hearts Fast must have gone down somehow. I must have missed that because actually Daegu's going to hold on to 30%, 20% advantage roughly, which is more than enough when you're on the defense there. So, Min seem to be committing to this B hold still. Good rotation coming in from them. Just playing on that balcony area, on that catwalk, trying to get some damage in. And aggressive plays from Samba, putting out some mad damage, but not quite enough. Fiddle eSports gonna have to think about pushing back here. They can't hold this angle as Sacrilege goes down. Heartsparks goes down as well. Some brilliant pumps by Adiski there. I mean, that is just an absolute death corridor. If you can get a good demo like Adiski in there to pound some damage, Heartsparks did not stand a chance.
That's the problem with this B corridor. You need to take the space, but you also need to make sure nobody's close enough to do. You see Sandburn here just walking forward, tanking the heals, and then Adiski comes in later on just to throw some more damage down. And when you're allowed this much space as a demo to do that kind of thing down a corridor, people just feed you. And if your medic is that close, he's going to die. And Daegu once again has 100% in the bank. Hearts has to build things up here. He's on the crits creek now. So he's at 70 crits. Wonder if Viljack is going to call that. Uber is used. And Murphy gets taken down there by Samba. And Sak is going to try and do the best he can. But he cannot do anything. But Cherry did go down. He got backstabbed by Sneaky. The sentry got taken down. So that is something of an opening, and we have 100% crits here in the hand of Hearts. I'm wondering what he's going to do, whether it's going to be Murphy to take it, and what they're going to be aiming to do, and whether Elephant know this. If they know this, Garden Funkus is there with a flamethrower, so he's going to be able to air blast. He's not running the flog right now, but no, Garden Funkus gets taken down. The next crit comes in. Can it take anything down? No, Murphy gets taken down with the headshot by Milchman, and Adiski is so far forward that he's just spamming it out and allowing the rest of his team space to do what they want. And Fiddle here need to go back to the drawing board. Maybe there's still over 4 minutes to go, but they don't it doesn't look like they're making a crack in this Elephant defense.
No, I mean they've managed to push them back a little bit, but you can already see now Daegu pushing his team forward a little bit more. But some picks coming in there. Dima and Viljack both going down. No flank for Elephant, so they might be able to pressure the E point a little bit. That's exactly what they're doing. They've got the Clark and Justice playing there on the ×4. Clark running the pain train. Interesting plays there. So ×4 is actually enough to warrant maybe a bit more of an urgent rotation there. You can already see Adiski going back to try and deal with them. They are completely falling back now. They've already got half the time on their. Clark just kind of baying a little bit there and getting a bit of time in. Heartsparks going down there to Milsham, and he's going to slam down even more. They weren't able to get the sentry, however, but I wouldn't call that a good trade. Murphy as well getting taken down. Sacrilege falling shortly. And Heartsparks just can't hold on to these Ubers. Daegu always seems to be in control, and until they can break that Uber disadvantage, I think the Fiddle have got a real hard time coming.
Yeah, I mean, Daegu's just under no pressure. No pressure at all. He's in a really safe spot, and it doesn't look like anyone's going for suicide or anything like that. Looking at Garden Funkus right now. Oh my word, he gets juggled. He's running the crits. He gets it. Oh my god, he's running the flog. He gets the crits, and someone juggles a frickin' crits pyro into their own medic. Someone's getting screamed at in Mumble right now, I can guarantee it. But as I say this, there's only 2 players left alive for Elephant here, and Fiddle somehow maybe just got motivated and just threw it out the bag. Yahoo got the frag onto the medic there. Daegu going down, but everyone else just followed up. That was just an insane crits play. I'm sorry, he's coming back in again. He doesn't even have crits, and he still gets the frags. Takes down Hearts once again, and like you said, Chando, Hearts can't stay alive. You've got pyros on him, you've got snipers on him, you've got everyone just going for him, and it just seems that nobody's making the plays for Fiddle right now. And Elephant have actually managed to take control of B once again.
Able to reclaw that from some pretty insane WM1 tactics there. I mean, you used to think the Puff and Sting tactic of the Pyro was the overpowered one. Look at it now. MVP going to Garden Fungus for just clicking that mouse and walking forward and getting everything he needs there. Assisted only by Murphy, I think it was, that shot Garden Fungus into the air. And yeah, as you say, that was pretty incredible. Just able to get that frag onto the medic there. And Artsparts going down again. Poor guy, really can't handle it. And at this point, with 20 odd seconds left, I think. Oh no, 1.5 minutes, sorry. It's looking pretty bleak for Fiddle eSports. They're going to really have to focus onto the E point now, or maybe do a quick B cap and then a quick rotation. But either way, they're very limited in time. You can see Hearts and Clark, pushing up with their Pyro Sacrilege, trying to get some time on point. I guess that they can afford to, but the Uber is going to come back out now. It's going to be, you guessed it, onto Garden Fungus, who once again takes down Heartsparts. And yeah, I mean, he's just the mad medic fragger today. And I think he's probably got more med picks than the Spy and the Sniper. But on talking about Spies getting frags, Daegu managing to get pistoled down by Sneaky. Justice taking down May as well. So, both teams taking a lot of damage, but, you know, I think it's already done at this point. Only 50 seconds left or so. I don't even know if that's enough time to capture E. They haven't got the space. I don't know if they're going to be able to do this, CeeJaey.
I mean, there's the potential to cap B now. I mean, if they go for E, they're going to have to rely on the overtime. If they capture B, then obviously it extends the timer to capture the rest of the points, but it is a big ask considering they've only just got their medic back up here. And there we go, Garden Fungus with the crits again, takes down Clark this time around. But wow, big plays coming in from behind. There's only 4 left up now for Elephant. Daegu is actually on the Vaccinator, but in comes Sack from behind. Didn't have flame resistance on. Sandburn and Iridiski, the only players on B. They are weak, but there's only 5 seconds for a player to get into B. And actually, can Sneaky do it? He triggers that dead ringer. There's actually somebody on E. So this could actually extend the time, but no, Sandburn takes down Heartsparts. And I think that is going to be all she wrote. So Fiddle eSports need to hold on to the A point for 24 seconds. And then not allow another point to be capped by Elephant. Otherwise, Elephant are going to take this game 2-0. And it started off as a fairly close game, but that was extremely one-sided, Chando.
I just couldn't break that B-side defense from Elephants, doing such a good job. I mean, the rotations were so quick, but at the same time, I feel like Fiddle really should have tried a bit more in terms of varying up their strategy. They kept doing the same thing. They were playing so aggressive on that B corridor there. They had their medic sort of all the way up. If I was them, I'd have their medic all the way back in spawn until they get Uber. They don't want to jeopardize anything. And I mean, he lost so many Ubers just from playing a little recklessly, I might say. And that's a bit of a shame, because I think with some more successful Ubers, they could have had some more successful pushes there. Certainly had the opportunity, but I mean, as you say, 24 seconds for Elephant to push A. It could be done. It could be done. They're going to have to put a little bit of pressure on it. You can see they've got the level 3 there, and they've got Murphy as well, putting out some spam. They're just trying to slow him down, basically. Taking down Cherry Rendezvous. The Crits comes out, though. Takes down the Sentry. Takes down Murphy. The Sentry won't last long either. And that is Sacrilege still playing there. He's got to try and do something to deal with it, but it looks like they might hold on to this. CeeJaey.
I can see like both teams are running crits there. I can understand why, but you know, they've managed to hold on to the 8 point. But those players who are on the 8 point have just been baited really, really hard. So it looks like we're going drop down now. Hearts has 100% crits. It's going to need to be a huge play here, but there's nobody on B. They've been totally bamboozled. Clark is the only person there, and he has 50 HP. The rotation needs to come in here. Otherwise, Elephant are just going to stack this point. There is 100% crits for both teams, but there's nobody physically on the B point to stop this. Fiddle are coming in now. Crits comes in from Murphy. Can he get anything done? He does take down Daegu, but there's only 3 players left alive. Sentry has to clean up. He's running the Widowmaker, and he's on a 2k with it right now. Dima, 2 rockets on the point. He might actually cap this by himself. Takes down the medic, gets the round win. That is going to be 2-0 for Elephant, and in the end, they just too strong there when it came to not so much the strats, but just holding and pushing. Their rotations were faster. They were holding the correct areas. And I feel Milchman just played a huge part there. He's an insanely good sniper. He's played, you know, Highlander Nations Cup for Germany. He's won Prem with strong opinions. He's played at LAN. He's like a two-time runner-up at LAN, I think. He's played on top teams. And I think when you've got a sniper of that quality and people aren't giving him the respect he deserves, they're just kind of walking into sightlines, he's just going to frag you. And if you're constantly losing 1 or 2 players every push because a sniper is picking you off, it makes it really hard for the rest of your team to do any kind of productive kind of pushing. And if you don't cap B point, your spawns are going to be still fairly slow. So every trade isn't going to be that great. So that B point hold was crucial for Fiddle to break. I felt if they broke that hold, they would have rolled it onto E, and they would have managed to set a time for the E point at least, but it was just the B point, and I think Adiski, Milchman, Sandburn, they were all in the right position and just totally denied it.
Absolutely, and it begs the question, what was Fiddle doing on their defense? Why were they not on B at all? I mean, I get that maybe there was sort of like a fake rotation coming in from Elephant and they may have thought they were going straight to E, but at the end of the day, they only had to cap 1 point to win that. I don't know if Fiddle were aware of that, because any team that was completely aware of only 1 point left would still have something watching B. I think there was a heavy watching B, but alone, what can he do? They were doomed from the get-go. As soon as they sort of took everyone away from that B point there, they pretty much secured their fate, and it was such a shame to see, because their defense have been pretty strong in some aspects, and I think that maybe given a few more players on B, that crits could have been used earlier. They could have gotten the space that they needed, and they maybe could have actually started setting up some difficult plays for Elephant, but that wasn't to be. They will be losing CP Steel 2-0, which means Elephant will be taking in a 5-0 uncontested season thus far for them.
Yeah, and looking pretty strong. I mean, if these are the 2 undefeated teams, of course this is CP Steel. It's not maybe a map you can really base 2 teams' abilities on, because it is kind of a specialist map, you could argue. But just taking a quick look at the logs, you can see the players that really kind of produced in that second round. Sandburn there, top fragging with 21 kills, only dying 5 times. Adiski there, putting out 490 DPM, only dying 4 times. Milchman with the only the 9 headshots, 12 kills, but he only died 5 times as well. So when you've got that happening, and those classes that are just kind of controlling that choke, it made it so difficult. And there was no kind of flank play. You would have expected maybe people to rotate and maybe force through the flank. It didn't really happen. I guess the flank was just too strong. Take a look at Dima as well there. I know Dima loves steel. Getting over 400 DPM, just totally denying that white room from any flanks from Fiddle. Another key point has to be looking at Daegu. He died 4 times, and a couple of those were at the end, compared to Hearts' 10. So if your medic is just not dying, and the enemy medic is dying every time they try to push, it's very difficult for you to mount any sort of attack. So really strong performance there from both teams. Next week is Asheville, so we're into a more DM friendly map. Maybe Fiddle are going to be more at home on a map like that. But it does remain to be seen how these 2 teams are going to fare. I think both of them are going to be pretty confident they'll reach the playoffs. Fiddle still have to play the likes of Failure eSports and some of the other tougher teams, but we'll see. We'll be bringing those in the coming weeks. We've still got 3 more regular season games. But is there anything you wanna add at the end there, Chando, before we disappear?
I think that you've covered most of it. One quick mention, just a reminder for everyone who's looking forward to some Highlander LAN action. Copenhagen Games will be running from the 28th of March until the 1st of April, I do believe. It's until the 31st, sorry. But either way, KritzKast will be there in every single match. And, we really hope to see you either at Copenhagen or failing that, check us out on Twitch, covering as much as we can, and I really look forward to seeing everyone there myself. So keep an eye out for more details on that on Team Fortress TV or through KritzKast. But that's about it for me, CeeJaey. You got anything else to say?
I got a message during the game saying if Sinrise was on heavy, he would have won. So keep up the Sinrise heavy meme, please. I know he is desperate to find a team for next season on heavy. And I think Sinrose Heavy is something we want to see in Prem for the next season. But no, I just want to say thank you for the cast as well, Chando. It's always lovely to cast with you. And Viethoofd for all the stuff he's doing in the background, just reiterating about the Copenhagen Games. Oh, it is Viethoofd's birthday. I want Field's birthday man in chat for Viethoofd, who's doing production on his birthday, producing
What a
Highlander
party.
on it. Yeah, I mean, what more could you want? Two people casting while you're just doing camera work. I mean, it's a birthday dream. But yes, Copenhagen Games, guys, don't forget, it's going to be huge, massive prize pool for both game modes. We'll be covering Highlander over on KritzKast. We'll be back next Monday for more Highlander action. It'll be week 6 of UGC Platinum. We'll be covering another European game on Asheville. Just keep an eye on the Twitter, follow us on Twitter, and keep an eye out for which teams are going to be the ones who are playing. But that's all for us for right now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.